On 26 June 2001, just a day before her birthday, a 52-year-old Caucasian woman, Karen Moore, left her residence in Davie, Florida at 7 p.m. and would never return home. The next day, her 8-year-old daughter Christina would come home from summer camp for her mother's birthday, but her mother would not be there to pick her up. Where could Karen have gone? Was there any foul play involved? Would she ever come back? These were questions that troubled Christina for 22 long years, until now. Welcome to Cold Case Files, where we bring to you the stories of America's notorious cold cases. Today, we are looking at the 22-year-old cold case solved in 2023 by the depths of history. But first, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into the mystery. Davie, a homey suburban town in the Broward County of Florida, offers the comfort of a close-knit community and the vibrancy of Western-themed attractions. The evergreen sunshine, warm climate, and the proximity to beaches are attraction points for tourists as well as residents. It is famous for housing college students, as Davie is the hub of multiple university campuses. Home to over 110,000 people, Davie provides abundant recreational activities, quality education, and neighborly living situations. And it is here in Davie that our case begins today. Thomas Stewart Moore and Olga Charlotte Moore were blessed with a baby girl on 27 June 1948. They named her Karen Elizabeth Moore. She also had a sister named Pam. As she grew up, Karen enjoyed cooking, hiking, sailing, and playing the piano. Karen had a keen interest in traveling since her childhood. Nobody would have predicted that she would travel away one day and never come back. She completed her Associates of Art degree in 1968 and graduated as a Bachelor of Science, majoring in nursing in 1979. In 2001, at the age of 53, Karen Elizabeth Moore was going through a divorce with her husband. She had a restraining order against him. They had an 8-year-old daughter together named Christina, who Karen got full custody of. Before she went missing, Karen was employed as a nurse at the Edge Point Estates retirement community in Boca Raton. But even though she worked full-time, she never compromised on providing a quality childhood for Christy. She made sure to give Christina the best years of her life. Christina, too, remembers Karen as a dedicated mother. Despite her job as a nurse, Karen found time to take Christina to the zoo and do other activities with her, simply to spend quality time together. She wanted to ensure a happy and healthy childhood for her daughter. But soon, the happy picture of this family would turn into a sad story filled with a myriad of questions. 27th June 2001 was Karen's 53rd birthday. Christina came back home from her Girl Scout camp to celebrate with her mother, but Karen never came to pick her up. The first suspicion that something was wrong arose when Karen didn't show up. Karen was a nurse, so it was possible that she might have been busy at work. But Karen was always available for her daughter, and if she had work, she would have sent someone else to receive Christina. The fact that no one was there was very strange. As the day passed by, the story got even more mysterious. The previous day, on June 26, around 6:30 in the evening, Karen had paid her neighbor's son for mowing her lawn. That was the last time someone had seen her. She had then taken her white 1999 Saturn and left the house around 7 p.m. No one had any idea why she had left the house or where she could have gone. When she didn't return home, a police complaint was filed by Karen's sister, Pam Kleiss. Pam revealed that Karen had called her estranged husband to pick up Christina before leaving for work in the morning the day she disappeared. Later, she had exchanged a brief interaction with her neighbor's son and then left the house. What happened after these incidents is anyone's guess. She was supposed to work the next day. Keith Krydall was the executive director of the retirement home Edge Point Estates, where Karen worked as a nurse. He mentioned that Karen had a punctual and responsible working history of 8 years. Karen was so sincere about her work that she would have informed the establishment in case of any urgent endeavor she had. Everyone knew that Christina meant everything to her. There was no doubt that Karen didn't leave voluntarily. Now, was this just a distressing accident, or was something else at play here? With rising suspicions and no real leads, the police had limited resources to find Karen Moore. The first step was to track her vehicle. At the time of her bizarre disappearance, Karen was driving a white 1999 Saturn 4-door with the license plate DOOTHU. Her car also had an Indiana State University decal on the back. This information was distributed to the public with every possible detail. James Franquise, a detective at the Davie Police Department, received a tip from a woman saying she had seen the same car in South Miami-Dade County, but the information could not be verified or backed by any other witnesses. In a frantic effort to take the case forward, the police released a missing poster detailing Karen's physical appearance. The posters read that she had brown eyes, brown hair, and prescription glasses. Her height was listed as 5 feet 4 inches. With no success so far, the police were struggling for leads to find the whereabouts of Karen. The initial inspection of her house was enough of an indicator to anticipate bad news. All her clothing, luggage, and even her cell phone were found at home. A closer look at her house made it evident that there were no signs of forced entry or foul play. The detective suspected that Karen must have left the house voluntarily. However, what caused her to leave was still unclear. Franquise informed the public that the police were looking into the financial and telephone records of Karen Moore. The possibility of theft or robbery was immediately shunned when her bank account and credit card showed no activity. This also meant that Karen was in a bad state. After all, with all her necessary items still at home, she would have required cash to sustain herself. Her relatives requested the police department to search for Karen with a helicopter. But with no knowledge of the direction that Karen could have driven in, the police couldn't proceed further. The Moore family and the entire police department released missing person posters with rewards, but Karen had completely vanished without any trace. Days turned into months, and months turned into years, and Karen's family were left waiting for her to come home. Years upon years went by, but Karen did not return. Her daughter, Christina, got married and had children of her own, but there was still no information about what had happened to Karen that day. 6 January 2023 was the day when Brian Lockhart, a scuba diver and the owner of the YouTube channel Depths of History, accompanied Michael Rodriguez and Mike Sullivan, heading the Sunshine State sonar team in searching the local water bodies in Broward County. With the help of advanced sonar technology, they found a car in a retention pond in Davie. When Michael noticed his underwater sonar system lighting up, the entire team was quick to identify that they had hit the wheels of a car in the water. It took them about 15 minutes to finally find the car. When Britton dove to examine it, he found an open trunk and a license plate under 3 feet of muck. They knew they had found something substantial, but they were not sure about its details and whether it was related to any old cases. Britton quickly rushed to contact the Davie Police Department. Even 22 years after Karen's strange disappearance, Davie police hadn't forgotten about her. When they arrived at the scene the next day, they had to send the divers back into the water. The car was pulled out of the water and was sent for further inspection. The car matched the description of the vehicle Karen was driving when she disappeared. The license plate of Karen's car was found covered in dirt. It was a huge discovery in this 22-year-old case. The pieces were finally falling in place. They found 2 bones inside the car, which later confirmed that Karen Moore had been inside the car when it entered the lake. Finally, they found out what had happened to Karen Moore. Lockhart and Rodriguez could not talk about the specifics of the case even when the entire search mission was telecasted live on YouTube. The police suspected foul play and prevented the search teams and even the Moore family from giving interviews about the case. Though the details concerning what's, how's, and why's are still under investigation, a daughter finally got closure about her mother's fate after 22 years. After Karen mysteriously disappeared, Christina was left in the care of her relatives. The comfort and closeness that she felt with her mother could never be substituted. She faced constant ups and downs in her early years. She even ended up in foster care for a time. In times like these, she would miss her mother and pray that she would be found or return home to her. She said, "Every life moment that every little girl hopes and dreams for, to have their mother with them. My own birthdays, when I got engaged and married. Now I have 2 kids. They don't get to know their grandmother." Undoubtedly, Christina Babert was very close to her mother. Even after all these years, she took to TikTok in 2021, mentioning how she would have liked a little more time with her mother. After 22 long years, Christina finally got some information about her mother. Christina could not get all the answers that had bothered her for years, but she showed her gratitude to police and search teams as she finally got to bring Karen back home and lay her to rest in peace. A further probe into the case of Karen Moore's disappearance is active and ongoing. Davie police sent an email to Fox News Digital stating that they had a meeting with the detectives, but they could not comment on the case as it might hinder the possible outcome of the investigation. After the discovery of her remains in the pond, the next set of urgent questions appeared. How did Karen end up in the pond? If the police's suspicions are right, what was the motive behind this crime? Who was responsible for the 22 years of agony for Christina and the whole Moore family? Now that Karen has returned home after 22 years, all hope is not lost in her case. The dedication of the police department and the technological advancement in sonar systems resulted in a partial success. The answers may seem blurry right now, but justice for Karen may be just around the corner. If anyone out there knows anything, do not hesitate to come forward, as your information could be invaluable to unmask a decades-old mystery. Did Karen die because of an accident, or was it something more sinister? Do you think any further progress will be made in this case? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, and thanks for watching.